All right, today we got a question from our man Garrett, an Instagram follower, shot me out with a DM. Said, I have a question for you about paid work versus not. I'm obviously much smaller and in Montana, so commercial work isn't as frequent, and I mostly enjoy photography as a hobby. I didn't want to be taken advantage of though, so I started charging for portraits. And what I found is people obviously want things for free, so people aren't messaging as much. Where do you draw the line on doing things you creatively enjoy and just accept it's done for free? Or do you not do any photography for free these days? I actually get this question a lot, and it's funny because if you look at my Instagram, you'll see a lot of this is free work. Like my last 6 posts, for example, are creative work. Then I got 2 jobs, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 11 more shoots for free. So my Instagram is mostly free creative work. I think if you love photography and you're going to be doing photography for the rest of your life, you will be shooting a good chunk for free. If you want to elevate your portfolio, if you want to shoot new things and try new stuff and work with new people and new teams, then you are going to have to be shooting a lot for free. Your question is, when do you know when to charge? And when do you know when to shoot for free? And I have a pretty simple rule of thumb that I came up with. The cooler the job, the less I charge. And what do I mean by that? Now let's say an artist reaches out to me, a musician, and they really want to shoot for the sake of shooting, for collaboration, then that's a free shoot for me. I get to put in my creative juices and we collaborate to make something completely new and unique. That's much different than someone comes to you that wants your services, to be a hired gun, to be a carpenter, to be a craftsman. That's much different. If I'm giving my creative input and it's just as much about my project it is yours, then that's when the price comes way down, if it's free at all. But once someone starts saying, hey, I want you to shoot it this way, I want it done here, I want it done like this, and I'm really just a hired gun, I'm really just that craftsman that you've hired to execute an idea, then that's where the price goes up. If it's someone wanting a random portrait session, I charge. If it's someone wanting a job shot for their brand, I charge. If I'm reaching out and I'm doing the ideas, free. But generally, if someone is inquiring to me, then I charge. And it's a much different conversation knowing how much I charge. You know, that's a very loaded question. And I always say it's like, how long is a piece of string? Well, I need some context. Generally, my way of thinking when someone reaches out to me for a job, it's always a fine art to figure out what their budget is and then take all of it. It's a bit of working and a bit of conversational communication skills to figure that out. It's always easier if you have a secondary person talking money for you, even if it's just a friend that you call a business manager or a friend that you call director of creative operations, you know, something like that. It's so much easier for someone to say it's $1,000 for this shoot versus the actual artist asking for money. But again, different conversation. We can dive into that a little bit later. What the whole goal is here is, when do I charge? When don't I charge? If you're starting off and portraits are low or your inquiries are low, then that's when you have to go out and just start shooting your own personal work. You gotta shoot stuff that makes you excited, stuff that makes you happy. If you're thinking you're gonna charge every time you're shooting, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You're in photography for the money. I get that it's a great lucrative job for some people, but most of the time, you're shooting for fun. Why did you even start photography in the first place? Is it because you wanted money? You're in it for the wrong reasons and you'll never be as successful. The most successful people in the world started photography because they loved it. They're passionate about it. They wanted to create new things. They wanted to hone their own visual signature. And that's very, very different than I'm in it for money. But it all comes down to what Jared said, is where do you draw the line? And that is something you have to ask yourself. You can ask yourself a handful of questions. Will I use this in my portfolio for years to come? Will I end up showing this on Instagram and my social medias? Will this be on my website? Am I gonna be proud of this work? If you can't answer yes to all of those things, then you should be charging. If someone reaches out and you have no creative control, they have an executed vision, and they want you to essentially work for them, then that's where the price skyrockets. And then you get into a whole different conversation about how much do I charge? But that's for another video. Now granted, Garrett said he is in Montana, so commercial work's a little thin, but you can't really think of that. You gotta start shooting your friends. You gotta start shooting things you enjoy. Try shooting artists. This is how you develop your visual signature, and then the work comes. There's an old cheesy saying that Oprah said way back in the day, but it's stuck with me forever, and I tell people this all the time. Do what fulfills you, and the rest will come. Do what fulfills you, and the rest will come. If you're happy shooting, just start shooting that stuff more. Work on yourself, get better, and let the people come to you. You just have to think of these core things every time someone inquires for a shoot. How does this benefit me versus them? Is there a proper give and take? Do they get more out of it than I am? And if so, then that's when the price starts to creep up. What is this going to be used for? Is this used for a brand? Is it used for someone's own personal brand? That's when the price starts creeping up. But if an artist says, hey, I want to shoot with you. I love your work. How can we collaborate? I mean, that's much, much, much different. I mean, when it comes down to it, the same piece of advice I give to everyone is you just have to shoot more. You're not shooting enough. I'm a professional photographer. I don't shoot enough. I'll tell you that right now. Just shoot more. Get that skill so honed and so on point and so dialed that people are just gonna have to pay for your photography. And it's that simple. Shoot more, have those core beliefs ready and handy. And the next video I'll talk about how much to charge. But for now, happy shooting. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Corey Vanderplu at Corey Photo on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to support me, check out my links in the description. I got a new NFT launch that dropped. It comes with a free edition print, or you can buy the prints right from my Shopify store. Thank you very much.